point 4, or excuse me, the point 6. You got 100 on that one. What was that? Oh.
So it had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
When the hearing officer does the tracking. Well, the city attorney. Oh, I know. Well, then I got him on a couple of spots.
Wait, this guy works for the government?
Yeah,
Oh.
well, and there's this gal, she's a little better. Well, and it's just, there's just.
Oh, gotcha. They were getting.
They're getting there, and it's dumping now. They said one.
Hello.
snowing a lot more here than it is just over in the tech center. It's like I'm driving into, well, this is hours earlier than
Yeah, I've got that for you, and then I do have a copy. They made a copy of their petitioning items.
Okay,
Everything looked good there, and I have copies of the affidavits for both. I think that's all we were missing, right?
I think so.
Okay. And kind of the same thing over here. Background checks. Kind of back.
She's the petitioner, I mean, the circulating service, yeah. You know,
Oh, yeah, no, we
I
were not
ran it
that.
pretty efficient.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Oh, well, it's
yeah.
getting bad out there.
Yeah, so.
It's not a Monday night council meeting, trust me.
So we can get on the road? I feel like one was already in this morning. Like the run this morning.
Okay.
I had a gentleman that was going to sneak on here. Because they can come and speak.
Uh-huh.
They told me probably has a better bet speaking.
Are you also in the same building as Peter?
Yeah, he's-
Northwest?
Yeah, I
It's
really
already
can't.
open.
Okay.
I know, but I
Anything
mean,
about that?
anybody can come speak.
Sure.
But I don't think he's going to show.
Your 3 minutes are up.
Northwest.
Yes, exactly. That's what we got the timer for.
Okay. All right, we're just going to be a few minutes to get started while Ms. McKinnon gets a item or two. How are y'all this morning?
Doing great. How you doing?
Good, thank you.
How are the roads?
You know, they're starting to get not so pretty. Just that early snow thing. Okay. All right. Okay. Let me just. I'm on TV. Didn't prepare for that. Okay, so we've got the recording on? Okay. Call to order the meeting of the Englewood Liquor and Marijuana Licensing Authority. Today is Wednesday, February 6, 2019. It is 11 o'clock. Today before us on the agenda, we have one application, which is for a hotel and restaurant license by Chop Shop Casual Urban Eatery Sobo LLC, and for 3150 South Broadway, Englewood. So I'm Kathy Guckenberger. I'm serving as the hearing officer in this matter. Thank you for coming, to everyone here in the room. Just I'll go over some procedural matters real quickly. The hearing will be conducted pursuant to the Englewood Municipal Code. We are being recorded. Persons giving testimony must state and spell their name and their address for the record, please, and will be sworn in by Ms. Jackie McKinnon, our Deputy City Clerk. We'll have Ms. McKinnon introduce the case and enter into evidence any documents pertinent to the application that have been submitted. Then we'll give the applicant an opportunity to present its case, noting that it is the applicant's burden to demonstrate that all criteria for the license sought have been met. parties in interest who are in favor of opposed to the application may testify, but Ms. McKinnon has indicated no one has signed up on that topic. If someone does enter, we'll give them a chance. And then I may have some questions for witnesses or from city or for city staff. And then if you have any additional matters, we'll let you present those in response to questions. Just as a reminder, the ordinary rules of evidence don't apply, but some brief foundations will be helpful in establishing the credibility and source of information. We'll make note of all exhibits received for the record, and then after all the testimony's been provided, I will either render a decision or take it under advisement. If I need to continue it, I will. Are there any questions about the procedure? All right. Well, then let's begin. Ms. McKinnon, please introduce the case and enter into evidence documents pertinent to the application.
We have our city exhibits for Chop Shop Casual Urban Eatery Sobo, LLC, DBA Chop Shop Casual Urban Eatery Sobo. Exhibit A, the application, individual history record, financial questionnaire, floor plan, certificate of good standing, and the lease. Exhibit B, a certified letter advising the status of the application and notice of public hearing was mailed from Jackie McKinnon, Deputy City Clerk, the City of Englewood, dated January 24th, 2019, to Chop Shop Casual Urban Eatery Sobo, LLC, DBA Chop Shop Casual Urban Eatery Sobo. Publisher's affidavit verifying the notice of public hearing was published in the Englewood Herald on January 10th, 2019, and on the City of Englewood's website on January 4th, 2019 through February 6th, 2019. Exhibit D, zoning compliance, a memorandum dated October 2nd, 2018 from Will Charles, Planner 2, from Englewood Department of Community Development, verifying compliance with zoning and distance requirements. Exhibit E, acceptance of neighborhood boundaries and affidavit of posting. Exhibit F, maps indicating boundaries, Evans on the north, Oxford Avenue on the south, Santa Fe Avenue on the west, Clarkson Avenue on the east. Location of applicant is within 21 other hotel and restaurant liquor licensed within those boundaries. And then we have the applicant exhibits, which they had Esquire go out and do their petitioning for them, which I have the petitions here, and I've given you like a rundown or a review of what their findings were.
Okay.
And that would be it.
All right. Thank you, Ms. McKinnon. I've just received a copy of these petitions, so we'll get a chance to take a look at them here today. At this point, I will turn it over to the applicant, who will begin speaking for the applicant.
Christian Anderson,
Okay.
would you like him to
Okay.
testify from his chair here?
Well, please stand up and introduce yourself first, since you're speaking, so that we have for the record, and then we'll let you get started with your case. If you could mind stepping to the rostrum, that would be great. That's where our microphone is.
Morning. My name is Dan Bonifazi. I'm the attorney for the applicant, registration 30645. Today, the applicant, the representative of the applicant is Christian Anderson. He will be presenting testimony.
All right. And will you be assisting him in that testimony?
I will be questioning him.
Okay. Well, he can approach too, and if you guys want to both speak into the microphone.
Okay.
then that way we'll be sure to capture all the testimony.
This-
Does that work for you, Ms. McKinnon?
Yes, thank you.
All right. All right.
Is this compute? I don't want to mess this.
We need to swear them in.
Yes, we do.
You hold up your right hand.
Anybody, is anyone else going to be testifying? Do you want
Do
to?
everybody at,
Okay, you want to just?
do everybody at once. All right.
Let's have all of you, because I may have some questions for everyone here, so.
All right. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this matter now being heard by the Englewood Liquor and Marijuana Licensing Authority? You do? Okay, and let's have the, you two already gave your name, and we need to have them state their name
Yes,
and address.
if you could just approach the microphone and state your name to reflect who was sworn in.
Carol Johnson for Esquire Petitioning, Johnson. I live at 7265 C South Xenia Circle, Centennial, Colorado.
Thank you.
I'm Clinton Wongsness. I'm an owner with Chop Shop Casual Urban Eatery, and my address is 5796 South Pagosa Way, Centennial, Colorado, 80015. And my spelling of my name is CLINTWANGSNES.
Thank you. All right,
All right.
proceed.
Mr. Anderson, can you state your name and spell your last name for the record, please?
Sure. Christian Anderson, Anderson.
Where do you reside?
1126 Cherokee Street, Denver, 80204.
What is your title or status with the applicant?
Owner-operator of Chop Shop Casual Urban Eatery.
And your partner's here today, is that right?
Correct.
Now, you have, why don't you give the hearing officer a little background on what type of restaurant you
Sure.
have?
We're a fast casual style restaurant. We're chef-driven, family-driven. We have 2 other locations in Denver. We're open every day from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. at one store and 8 p.m. at the other store.
And what are the names of the other 2?
Both under the name Chop Shop. But
And do both have liquor licenses?
they do.
And about when did you receive each liquor license?
July, for our first store, July of 2014, and then the second store, February of 2017.
And have you had any difficulties, violations, warnings with respect to
Nope.
those licenses?
Not one.
And is it fair to say that you will run this restaurant in the same fashion you run those?
Yes.
And specifically, I'm asking about the training of staff, identifying false IDs, all of the tips criteria that you're required to adhere to.
Yes, we're really diligent in our training of our managers and our cashiers. We're fast casual, so you order at the counter. So yes, we'll be very diligent on all our training.
And so that training will be the same training that will be done?
Exactly, yep. And Clint and I are on scene all the time, so we're very, large part of the operation of the restaurant.
What is the target clientele that you're after?
We focus on families, so, I would say, to be honest, we like to serve anybody who wants to come in, but I would say families are probably our number one demographic.
How would you describe the food type?
We're elevated, so everything we do is made to order, so, we're chef-driven, so we have a team of chefs cooking the food.
And how many employees do you envision employing at this location?
I would say around 25 to 30 full-time employees,
And hours of operation?
11 a.m. to 9 p.m.
What's the estimated dollar volume? And I know that's kind of a moving target, but as you can.
Yeah, I would, it's tough to say that. I would, liquor sales generally, I would say, are about 15% of our sales, maybe 10 to 15%. So I would say that number is maybe 150 to 200,000.
So it's fair to say that this is primarily a food-driven restaurant?
Yes.
Not alcohol?
Not alcohol.
Not big bar crowd?
We don't even have a bar.
Okay. Customers a day?
Yeah, I'd say maybe 250 to 500 people a day.
Per location?
Per location, yeah. That's what we have at the other ones, give or take.
Can you tell the hearing officer specifically all of the training that you give to the staff that will be overseeing sale of liquor?
We're going to have our general manager be certified and then kind of just watered down effect on anybody who will be serving alcohol, which is our cashiers.
And so there's a carding procedure, I assume, in place. And what are the age parameters for that?
We tell our staff 35, but I think I just read something that it's going to be 50. I received something from the liquor board in Denver, so I'm not sure that will apply here, but we'll abide by any rule there is.
And what about training regarding identifying Colorado driver's license, out-of-state license? Will that be involved?
Yes, and when in doubt, they grab our general manager or Clint or myself. One of the 3 of us is always there.
So if there's a question of something that will involve management?
Absolutely.
Since we're recording, try and let me finish.
Yes.
So you don't talk over me.
Fair enough.
What about military ID, green card, passport, that kind of stuff? Does that present any challenges, or from the other locations, have you adopted a policy on that?
We accept those IDs, and we haven't had an issue to date.
Will the training involve identifying visibly intoxicated customers and what to do if such a customer is identified?
Yes.
And what is the policy that you have with respect to that?
Call the police.
Okay. Now, the standard, and you know this from the other liquor licenses, the needs and desires of the community. Why don't you give the hearing officer your opinion or your understanding of how your restaurant will be received in the community?
Well, we hope it'll be received well. We don't feel there's a restaurant like us in this part of town, so we think we're going to be a great addition.
Now, based on not only the other two liquor licenses, do you have an opinion or feelings that I want you to share with the hearing officer regarding your character qualifications to be a liquor licensee?
We have two other liquor licenses. We've never had an issue. We feel we run an honest, good business, and we're a benefit to the community. So we feel our past and our history kind of speak for themselves.
And having no difficulties in the entire time you've operated?
Correct.
Now, lastly, I want you to ask, or I want to ask you, do you think if this liquor license is granted, there will be any adverse effects to the health, welfare, or morals of the neighborhood?
I do not.
That's all I have at this point, and I would switch to Ms. Johnson,
Go right ahead.
unless you have questions.
I have no questions for Mr. Anderson. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Ms. Johnson, you previously stated your name and address for the record. If you could tell the hearing officer what we do for a living.
Sure. Esquire Petitioning has been doing liquor license needs and desires petitions and a few other things related to the liquor license industry for about 21 years. I personally am the legal assistant with the firm and have been with them since 2005. I do most all of the paperwork and I do the business petitions. We have a team of people that do the residential petitions. And in that respect, we have paperwork that is that sign yes or no. We have data sheets that are attached to the clipboards with every address that we approach, the results at that house, whether there is a signature yes or no, whether there's anyone that answers the door that doesn't want to sign, whatever. So we have a document of every house that we go to or business that we go to. We always meet at the location or as near as we can to it and go over the paperwork and the description of what the job they're doing and proceed starting at the location and radiating out. If there is our residents or businesses, we try to cover all 4 quadrants starting at the location, radiating out because we feel the closest residents and businesses are the most affected.
Thank you. And if you could tell the hearing officer a little bit about the procedures that you go through in support of a petition.
Well, that's much what we just do. We just basically present it with a neutral, unbiased at the door and ask them to try to sign yes or no, point that out that they can choose either one. Anyone that does choose to sign no, we try to be polite enough to ask what their opposition is so that we know that it is legitimate reason. Occasionally we get some off-the-wall responses.
And in this case, you contacted 166 people, is that right?
No, we did 693 door knocks in this particular job, of which 166 signed the petition. 56 declined to sign for various reasons. 31 were ineligible. That is very often businesses that do not have an owner or manager, residents under 21, that type of thing. And 450 people did not respond to the door. And of that, then we had 138 residents and 27 business owners sign in support for 165. 1 resident, 0 business owners or managers in opposition for a total of 1 or for the 166. And the 1 person that did sign in opposition thought there was sufficient number of outlets. So the final results are basically the same, 165 in favor and 1 in opposition, for a total of 166.
I believe that this report is in the record. If not, we can offer it.
Well, it's been submitted, but let's officially, do you already have it mentioned as an exhibit? I can't recall right now.
Yes, it was one of the on
Okay, so yes, it is in the record. And so, all right.
To answer any other questions you may have.
So, no, thank you very much. All right.
In conclusion, we believe that we've presented the prima facie requirements and met our burden that the applicant, issuing of the liquor license for the applicant meets the needs and desires of the neighborhood. given the track record that the applicant has, exemplary, no difficulty serving alcohol, the fact that we're talking about less than a quarter of the sales involving alcohol, the focus on a family-oriented business and restaurant, food-based, we believe issuing this license would be a benefit to the community and give the neighborhood another alternative of another great restaurant. That's all I have, unless you have any other questions for me.
I do have some questions. So one of the requirements to hold a license is that the applicant and owners of significant stake must be of good moral character. So there's a criminal background check that's run, and in this case, those were run on both Mr. Anderson and Mr. Wongsness. I'm sorry, Wongsness? Okay, got that. I have no questions regarding Mr. Anderson's character. I do have a few questions based on the evidence that's in the record regarding Mr. Wongsness because, well, I'll just start asking them, and I know Mr. Wongsness is sworn in, so if he wants to answer any questions. First of all, I noticed that on the individual history record that was submitted as a part of this application with your name on it, that in answer to the question, have you ever been convicted of a crime or received a suspended sentence, deferred sentence, or forfeited bail for any offense in any criminal or military court, or do you have any charges pending? The answer you gave was no. But then on your affidavit concerning criminal history, also submitted as part of this application and notarized on the date of, it's not clear if it's the 19th or the 10th or whatever, day of November 2018, you stated that you have been convicted of criminal offense of DWAI from 2006. So what is that? What is correct on that piece of information?
I apologize, I must have misread that incorrectly. I have been convicted of a DWAI back in 2006.
Okay, so that is, there's an ambiguity in the record, and I think we've cleared that up. Also, on the background check that was run on your criminal history, there indicated a couple of items that were not mentioned in either the individual history record response or the affidavit, and that was an arrest or two. Let's see, there was give me a minute, I'm sorry, it's felony forgery dated July 7th, 2006 in Arapahoe County, and then a note of a fugitive from Colorado, an offense occurring in Miami on September 7th of 2005. So I'm not clear if those events happened, if you were arrested for both or either of those charges, and if there was a disposition or conviction on any of those.
So those are all three the same event that happened? What was the original?
Felony forgery is the same as the DWAI?
Well, when I was 19, I was arrested with a fake ID for a DWAI. And then that ended up, I didn't get convicted of that until 2006.
The DWAI?
Yep. So that was this, everything else was dropped, and I was just convicted of DWAI.
So there's the disposition of the arrest for felony forgery and of, were you arrested in Florida?
Well, that was, I was in a vehicle that was at a traffic check, and they ran my identification, and it showed that there was a warrant for my arrest in Colorado. As soon as I realized there was a warrant for my arrest in Colorado, we immediately relocated back here and took care of it, and then I was convicted of DWAI.
Okay.
Everything else should have been sealed.
All right. So the arrests came out, so FYI. All right. Do you have anything else to disclose on criminal history that might not be in evidence?
No, that is it. That's the only thing I've ever been arrested for, and I thought I was being honest with it with the DWAI. But yeah, that's the only thing I've ever had in my whole history.
Okay, well, just note.
It's not something I'm very proud of.
Yeah.
And it's something that, you know, I did at an early age, and I've learned my lesson and paid my dues back. And
May I ask a question?
You may ask a question.
Since the 2006 DWAI, have you had any other issues involving alcohol?
not one,
Any other criminal arrests or?
No, sir.
Nothing?
nothing.
Is it fair to say that since 2006, over the last 13 years, your character, moral behavior has been exemplary?
Exemplary, 100%.
All right, thank you. Let me just be sure I have no further questions for the applicant. I just want to clarify our boundaries for Santa Fe, Oxford. What were they, Ms. McKinnon?
Evans,
Evans
Oxford, Santa Fe, and Clarkson.
and Clarkson, okay. All right, I have no further questions, so I'm going to close the testimony portion of the hearing and render my decision.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, thank you. So this authority hereby approves applicant's application based on the following findings of fact and conclusions. First, that the notice of hearing was posted in a conspicuous place on the premises as required by law and published in a newspaper of general circulation, also as required by law. That the applicant has demonstrated that there's a need and desire for this additional outlet based on the reasonable requirements of the designated neighborhood, desires of adult inhabitants of the neighborhood, and the number, type, and availability of existing outlets, specifically based on the testimony of the petition circulator and of the applicant. Also, I find that on that same testimony, that the existing liquor licenses of the same class in the neighborhood are inadequate to serve the neighborhood's thirst needs. And I find that the applicant, based on the evidence and testimony submitted in the record and the testimony offered today, that the applicant is of good moral character and not otherwise prohibited as a licensee, specifically noting that a DWAI is not by law considered a crime of moral turpitude. And further find that the applicant will be in legal possession of the premises per the lease provided to the licensing authority, that the business is not located within 500 feet of a school as prohibited by law, and that a license has not been denied for the same premises or one within 500 feet within the past 2 years based on a needs and desires finding, that the premises are suitable based on a review of the plans submitted, and that there's not an undue concentration of the same class of liquor licenses in the identified neighborhood. I have no conditions for this decision, so congratulations.
Great. Thank you, guys.
All right, yeah. And seeing no further items on our agenda, I will adjourn the meeting.